Welcome to Quality Branding Hub. The channel is for the quality control engineer, site engineer, and the civil engineer who are working in the construction field. In this channel, we are dealing with anything and everything which is required to get success in the construction. Today also, I'm going to discuss about a very important topics in the construction, that is DMC bore pile. It is widely used for the piling work. There is other method also, but today we will discuss about each and everything about the DMC bore pile. So stay tuned until then to get the full information. And if you are new in my channel, kindly subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get immediate notification. So without wasting time, let's jump into the subject, that is DMC bore pile construction. So today it is discussing that in any foundation, whenever the file is required, we need to do the construction, the piling work. So there are different types of pile: driven pile, bore pile. So today we are discussing about only the DMC bore pile, or so bore pile by the DMC, or direct mud circulation method. So first things what we need to know, that is what is DMC bore pile. Now DMC is stand for direct mud circulations. The DMC bore pile is a type of deep foundation. So the pile is a deep foundation. All we know, I will not going on that details. So DMC is a bore pile is a type of deep foundation used for transferring heavy loads from structure to deeper strata when surface soil lacks adequate bearing capacity. So if the surface soil is not adequate to withstand the load of the structure, we need to transfer the load with a deep foundation to the deeper strata where the load can be transferred safely. That time we are using the piling construction, and with direct mud circulation method is called the DMC method. It involves drilling a borehole into the ground using DMC method, that is direct mud circulation method, and filling it with reinforced concrete after removing the loose soil using bentonite slurry. So why bentonite slurry is using? To stabilize the bore. Otherwise the bore will collapse, and if the bore will collapse, we are not serving the purpose. You cannot do the concrete, and the pile will not go onto the strata where it actually designed for. That is why we are using the bentonite slurry to stabilize the bore diameter or the bore hole. So this about the what is DMC bore pile. Now we need to know what is the relevant IS code. So whenever we are working in India, we need to know what is the relevant IS code for the bore pile. That is IS 2911 part 1 section 2 2010. That is a code of practice for design and construction of pile foundation, that is board cast in situ pile. And IS 456, that is all we know, that is code of practice for plain and reinforced concrete. And IS 10262 2019 guideline for the concrete mix design. So these three codes we need to use whenever we are dealing with the DMC bore pile. The next is what is the equipment and tools is required. See, it cannot be done by a single person or not. It is a specialized work. So that is why we need the specialized types of equipment. So what are the equipment we need for the DMC bore pile? First, we need the rotary drilling rig to create the borehole by rotary a drill bit. That means we need to create a hole inside the earth. To create that hole, we need the rotary drilling rig. Then we need the caliber, that is transmit torques from the rig to the drill head. So how it will be to transmit the torques to the drill head, and it will going down, and it will create a hole, or we will excavate the area. Then tremie pipe. What is tremie pipe? Used for placing concrete underwater without segregation. That means we are making hole, we are placing the reinforcement. Now we need to do the concrete from the bottom to the up. But how the concrete will go up to the bottom? That is where the tremie pipe we are inserting inside the bore, and from the tremie pipe we are inserting the concrete from bottom to the up. Then that is a cross fat or flat. It can be cross or it can be flat. Bricks hard stated or obstructive section during the boring. It is possible, it's a common phenomenon that whenever we are doing the bore, we are finding the hard strata. So if it finding the hard strata, we need to break that one. So that time we need the chisel or the cross or the fat. The chisel is breaking the hard strata. Then we need the mud pump, circulates bentonite slurry to stabilize the borehole walls and remove soil. So this mud pump is an extremely important for the DMC bore pile. Without this mud pump, it is impossible to do the DMC bore pile. Then descender unit, that is separate soil particles from the bentonite slurry. Then chasing pipe used to stabilize the top part of the borehole. Then this casing pipe, why it is important? Because whenever we are making the borehole, it is a possibility that the location of the bore or location of the pile can be deviate as per from the drawing. So keep the position from that area, that from the temporary pipe we are inserting, and after doing the concrete we are removing that one, or sometimes we are keeping that one also. So these call are the casing pipe. That casing pipe is the you want that say it's a part stabilize the top part of the borehole or the keep it is in the locations. And then the concrete pump, or sometimes we are not using the concrete direct from the trimmed from the concrete mixer you can use, but the concrete pump is very much important to through the concrete through the tremie pipe. Now we need to know the what is the procedure. So here the process will go to the relevant IS code, that is IS 2911 part 1 section 2 in the clause 8 is in clause 8 in 8 it is given everything in the it's coming on the 7. So it is saying about the material and the stresses. So what is the material you need for the DMC bore pile? First you need the cement. See, we know whatever the cement, that is 33, 43, 53 grade rapid hardening cement, Portland slag cement, Portland pozzolana cement, Portland all the cement we can use for the then steel. What is the steel we can use? That is a mild steel conforming to IS 432 and HST white bar, that is conforming to IS 1786, and structural steel conforming to IS 2062. So these three types of steel we can use for the concrete DMC bore pile. Then concrete. Here it is a catch. What type of concrete we are using for the DMC bore pile? Because we cannot do the vibration because it is underwater inside the excavated earth or the bore. So we need to do the special type of concrete so that there will be no honeycomb, no bleeding, no segregation. That is why consistency of the concrete to be used for board castings into piles shall be consistent with the method of installation of pipes. Concrete shall be so designed to chosen to have a homogeneous mix having a slump or workability consistent with the method of concreting under the given condition of pile installation. And this slump should be 150 to 180 mm. So code as given the specification that you need to keep the slump in between 150 to 180. Then minimum grade of concrete to be used for the piling shall be M25. Below M25 it is not advisable to use in the pump. For sub-aqueous concrete, the requirement specified in IS 450 shall be followed. The minimum cement concrete also it is given, that is 400 kg per cubic meter. However, with proper mix design it can be use other type of, but not less than 350 kg. But it is given the recommendation normally you need to do the 400 kg per cubic meter, but in special condition it can reduce the cement content but not less than the 350 kg per cubic meter. For the concrete, water and aggregate, that is as per IS 456. So the average compressive strength under working load should not exceed 25% of the specified works cube strength at 28 days calculated on the total cross-sectional area. Where the casing of the pile is permanent or adequate thickness of suitable shape, the allowable compressive strength may be increased. So if we are already discussed the casing is maximum time is temporary. After doing the concrete we are removing that one, but if it is a the concrete is a permanent, then adequate thickness is to be also considered. Then drilling mud, it is only important. Drilling mud, that is a bentonite. The drilling mud to be used for stabilizing the borehole in board piling should conform to the requirement given in Annexure D. Now we need to go to the Annexure D. In Annexure D, we need to say check what it is saying. In Annex D, you can say what is the requirement. requirement of drilling mud, that is the bentonite. So what it is saying, what is the function? The action of bentonite is stabilizing the side of the boreholes is primary due to thixotropic property of the bentonite. That means whenever we are using bentonite, due to its thixotropic effect, it make a layer in between the bore and in the soil, so that bore is become stable. Otherwise the surrounding soil will come and collapse the bore and our purpose will not serve. That this is the primary action, is the stabilizing the bore. Then the thixotropic property of the bentonite suspension permits the material to have the consistency of a fluid when introduced into the trench or hole. When left undisturbed, it's from a jelly-like membrane on the borehole wall, and when agitated, it becomes a fluid again. So for the thixotropic effect, it may become a thin layer or the jelly layer inside the bore, so that there will be no collapse. Now, what is the requirement? The liquid limit of the bentonite when tested in accordance with IS 2720, that is be 400% or more. So you need to check whenever you are getting the bentonite for your piling work, it should be liquid limit should be 400% or more. Then the bentonite suspension shall be made by mixing it with fresh water using a pump for circulation. So the water should be fresh water as per IS 456. What are the criteria mentioned that you need to satisfy about the water? The density of the freshly prepared bentonite suspension shall be between 1.03 to 1.1. So it has given the range. So how we can make that one? Whenever we are adding bentonite, we need to check the bentonite solid suspension, this density. When if the density in between 1.03 1.1, then we can use for the borehole or the piling work, depending upon the pile dimension, the type of soil in which the pile is to be bored. The density of the bentonite after contamination with deleterious material in the borehole may be rise up to 1.25 gram. That means you are using the bentonite whenever we are doing the bore by the direct mass circulation method. The bentonite slurry also going there, and it is coming with the mix with the water used for the boring. Then the density will increase, and that is it can increase up to 1.25 gram per milliliter. This should be brought down at least 1.1 gram by flushing before concrete. Now, so whenever it is very much important to understand that whenever we are doing the bore, we are giving the bore bentonite suspension or bentonite slurry inside the bore to stabilize the bore. What is the dimension? 1.03 to 1.1. But whenever we are giving it to the bore, it has the bore inside the bore, there is a mud, there is a water, and with mixing with the contaminated or deleterious material, it become 1.25 maximum. But before concrete, we need to do the flushing with the bentonite slurry again, and it should be brought down to at least 1.12 before concrete by flushing. If it is not become the 1.12 or less, we cannot give the permission for the concreting. It is very much important. If it is 1.12, that means inside the bore there is a slurry or the mud or something is there. So there is chance for the collapse of the bore during the concreting, or if this material is there, the concrete can be harmful. That is why it should be always brought it down 1 point, bring it down to 1.12 or less. The merge viscosity of the bentonite suspension when tested to a merge cone shall be between 30 to 60 stroke. In a special case, it may be allowed up to 90 seconds. So the viscosity of the bentonite suspend also to be measured inside whenever you are doing the concreting or whenever you are using it for the piling work. And what is the limit? The 30 to 60 stroke, but in special case it's allowed up to 90. But pH value of the bentonite suspension shall be between 9 to 1.11.5. That, so what we need to check? Liquid limit, specific gravity, viscosity, and the pH. These four criteria you need to satisfy whenever you are selecting or you are selecting bentonite for your piling work. So these are about the bentonite slurry. So next is the workmanship. What is the workmanship? Board castings to pile should be installed in installation techniques covering the manner of borehole stabilization, that is used of casing or is in the drilling mud. So casing for the keep it in a position and bentonite to stabilize the borehole. Manner of concreting in which shall be used by tremie method, and choice of boring tools in order to permit satisfactory installation of pile at a given site. Now we need to keep the position pile in position, but whenever we are vertically boring that one or drilling that one, it is always a tendency that the pile location can be deviated. The ICE code has given what can be the maximum deviation. See, piles shall be installed as accurately as possible according to the design and drawings, either vertically or to be specified better. Greater care should be taken. As a guide, an angular deviation of 1.5% in alignment for vertical piles and a deviation of 4% for racker piles should be maximum. Pile should not deviate more than 75 mm or d by 6, whichever is less. 75 or d by 10, whichever is more, in case of piles having diameter more than 600 meter. So below 600 meter 75 mm or 600, whichever is less, and above d10. See, suppose you have the 700 diameter, so d10 is equal, d by 10 is equal to 70, or it is given 70, whichever is more. That means maximum deviation can be 75 mm in cases from their designated positions at the working level. That means in working level, whenever we are working, that can be maximum 75 or d by 10, or maximum 75 or d by 10 in case of 60. So d by 4 in case of, sorry, d by 6 in case of 600 diameter pile. So it is very much important to check the positions. How you need now it is, we are all giving the points by total station, and after placing the casing, again you need to check the alignment or check the location, so that after casing there will be no deviation as per the mention in here. So what is saying, in case a single pile under a column, the pedestal positional deviation should not be more than 50 mm. That is also given another criteria in case of a single pile. If it is a single pile, that means it can be maximum 50 mm or d by 6, whichever is less. 10 mm in case of a piles having diameter more than 600 mm. So in clause 8.1.2, the alignment is already given. Now it is our duty to check with total station, or make some 3 point surrounding the pile, and whenever we are making the casing inside the board, and then we can check from our the checkpoint. So we need to ensure that the pile is in the position. Then the next is use of drilling mud. In case of a borehole is stabilized by use of a drilling mud, the specific gravity of the mud already I discussed about the bentonite and slurry. See, here is a given 1 point, this should be maintained. Then cleaning of borehole. Now if a borehole is stabilized by drilling mud, the bottom of the hole shall be cleaned all loose and undesired material, because we are drilling and we are removing the soil using the direct mud circulation, but there is always chances there's a loose soil inside the borehole. Now we need to clean that one. Boring done with normal baler or chisel with temporary or permanent liner. First, heavier material to be removed with cleaning tools such as baler, and then reinforcement cage and tremie pipe to be lowered. That means first you need to check whether the whatever the length, maybe 15 meter, 20 meter or 25 meter, whatever the pile length from the cutoff level, you need to check, or from the working level, you need to check that much of boring has been done. And whenever boring, that much of boring has been done, we need to remove the material like this baler, and then we need to place the reinforcement, and after reinforcement we need to place the tremie pipe inside the board, and then we need to clean that one. How? Procedure is given: tremie pipe flushing to be done, continue the drilling mud under pressure through tremie pipe. Now whenever flushing, we need to check the, whenever after flushing, whenever this water is coming out from the bore, we need to check that bore density of the bore. If it is below 1.12, as I discussed in amendment this annexure D, then we can start for the concrete. So here is now the tremie concrete, that is very much important. Here it is a tremie concrete. It is a special type concrete that you need to understand what is tremie concrete. Concreting for board pile shall be done by tremie method. The following requirements are particularly to be followed for tremie concreting work. The concrete should be coherent, rich and not less than 400 kg, that already discussed. Slum is 150 to 180. The tremie should be watertight throughout its length and have a hopper attached to its head by a watertight connections. So there will be a hopper before, when from that hopper the concrete will be poured. The tremie pipe should be large enough in relation to the size of the aggregate. For 20 mm down aggregate, tremie pipe should have a diameter not less than 200 mm. Now, it is very much important that what will be the size of the tremie pipe. It depends upon the maximum size of aggregate of the concrete mix. So, if it is 20 mm, that should be 200 mm. For 20 mm down aggregate, tremie pipe should be diameter not less than 150 mm. All piling above 600 mm diameter should, however, preferably to be done with 200 mm. So there are three criteria mentioned. If it is maximum aggregate is 20 mm, then it should be 200. Maximum aggregate is 20 mm down, it should be 150 mm. But the diameter of the pile, if it is 600 and more, then it should be 200 mm. A steel plate or ball is placed at the bottom of the hopper, and then hopper is filled with concrete. That means there is a hopper and then the tremie pipe, and there is a hole from the hopper, inside the tremie, from the tremie pipe the concrete will go down. Now whenever you are pouring the concrete, there will be steel plate in between the hopper and the tremie pipe, and then hopper will be filled, and then the tremie, this plate will be removed, so that all concrete will going down, then added to the hopper, and by surging action is pushed down the tremie and then pile board to bottom of the pile. Theoretically, a small part of the first charge which gets contaminated is supposed to be at the top of the rising concrete with the board. That means when the first concrete we are pouring, it will come to the above. So it's from bottom to top. So whatever the first concrete it will come, it will be in the bottom and it should come out. And when it is come out, this is tendency to chance, or there is a mix with the groundwater or mix with the mud. So that is it will be removed after doing the concrete. The tremie pipe should always be kept full of concrete and should always remain at least 1 meter into the concrete in the borehole with adequate margin against the accidental withdrawal of tremie pipe. So it should be always kept in the concrete. The pile should be concrete wholly by tremie, and the method of deposition of should be not changed midway or prevent lattice from being charged within the pile. Then all tremie pipes should be cleaned before and after use. It is very much important. A sliding plug or polystyrene as or similar material lighter than water and approved by the engineer in charge or his representative shall be placed in tremie pipe to prevent direct contact between the first charge of concrete in the tremie and the bentonite slurry. Normally, concreting of the pile should be uninterrupted. In exceptional cases, the interruption of the concrete it shall be resumed within 1 to 2 hours. Basically, every project it is continuous process, but in any under circumstances, unavoidable circumstances, that we need to stop the concrete, and again within 1 to 2 hours we need to start the concrete. Now we, in case of withdrawal of concrete or tremie out of the concrete, either accidentally or to remove a choke in the tremie may be introduced 60 centimeter to 100 centimeter in the old concrete, and concrete resume as mentioned in the 8.4.1. That means if any tremie for the choke or any reason you have to remove and when you would start the reconcrete, it's 60 to 100 centimeters to be inserted inside the old concrete. The top of concrete of the pile shall be brought above the cut-off level to permit removal of all latent and weak concrete. Now, it is very much important. Now, we have the cut-off level. Now, it's a normal practice that from cut-off level, we make 1 meter extra concrete. Why? The first concrete where we discharge, that is all mixed with the mud and everything whichever present inside the bore, and it is when coming out, that is not the sound concrete. That is no use. It will not give the result or give the strength whatever was our requirement. That is, it is always advisable that we should do the concrete more than 1 meter from the cut-off level, and after concrete when we're done, after 20 days when we excavate, and that this pile head we need to break and we need to bring at the cutoff level for getting the sound concrete. And when cutoff level is less than 2.5 meter below the ground level, concrete shall be cast to a minimum of 600 meter above cutoff level. For each additional zero point 0.3 meter increase in cutoff level below the working level, additional coverage of minimum 50 mm shall be allowed. So that is also given how much concrete to be above cutoff level, but in general practice we are making always 1 meter or 1.2 or 1.5. So these are all about the how to do the concrete of the tremie pipe, using the drill method and everything. That is as per IS 2911 part 1 section 2. The next we discuss will discuss about the quality control checkpoint. That is the borehole dimension we need to check, borehole location that already discussed, slurry properties, that bentonite slurry already discussed, what will be the gravity and every specific gravity, liquid limit and the pH and everything. Reinforcement cage that we need to check, the diameter, length, cover and spacing of the bars as per the design. Concrete mix already I discussed. Pile integrity test, after doing the pile, it is a pile integrity test to check what is the pile length, pile diameter, pile dimension, pile strength and everything. So it is given the idea whether the pile is done as per the requirement or not. Then alignment and verticality, that is also I discussed that we need to check. The next part for the DMC bore pile is acceptance criteria as per IS code. That is already the dimensional accuracy already given, concrete accuracy, reinforcement, pile load testing, and then verticality and defect free pile. That is also I discussed. The next part is what is the advantage and what is the disadvantage of the bore pile. Why you are using bore pile, which area it is suitable and which area we cannot. The first thing, the advantage is it's suitable for wide range of soil types including waterlogged area. So if it is a waterlogged area or any kind of soil, it can be used. Then provides higher load bearing capacity, cost effective and large scale projects. That means it is a cost effective method. That is why it is widely used. That's minimal vibration compared to driven piles, so that the surrounding piles or the surrounding area not get disturbed. Then can penetrate hard strata with appropriate chisel. So these are the advantage. That is why the DMC bore pile is widely used in the construction. Then what is the disadvantages? Yes, there is. This is slower process compared to driven piles. Requires skilled labor for slurry management and pile constructions. Generate slurry waste and requiring proper disposal. And quality depends heavily on proper supervision. But if you can manage all these disadvantages, it can be widely used. It can be, and it is used everywhere. And these are all about the DMC bore pile, how to do the concreting and how to do the DMC bore pile. And I hope you find it useful. And if you find it useful, kindly subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get immediate notification. So without wasting time, I am waiting for your valuable comments, and from your valuable comments everyone will be benefited. And if you want to know anything more about quality control and construction, please let me know. I will come with more content like this. And thank you once again for watching me.